Hello, everyone. Mike Flanagan here with you again tonight. Welcome to the Storm post-game show. Jim Callahan, tour rep this week with Ballard Jr. and Chris Schlimmer. Getting Jimmy in here tonight. Welcome.
Welcome. Absolutely. Excellent. Thanks.
And Jack Jurek also joins us here tonight.
How you doing, Mike? Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. This Chameleon Championship today, we saw a lot of really interesting shots out there today. It was really unbelievable with the new oil, with the amount of oil they're putting down on the lanes. We saw a lot of players bowl good games and not so good games. And Jack, you actually today, thanks for joining us. I know you didn't make match play tonight, but you were really kind of a roller coaster ride today. Could you take us through your day a little bit?
Oh yeah, what a day it was! Absolutely. I come off a very disappointing day yesterday, shooting only 50 under. So I was kind of already down in the dumps as it was. I come out today just. Tried to put everything behind me and got out of the gates pretty good. Shot 250 out of the gates and had a couple of games after that. Next thing I know, I was like 185 over after 5 and was cruising along pretty good. And then the roller coaster took the big dip, and I caught a pair. Didn't seem to matter what I did. It was just one of those games where everything went wrong and I shot 131.
Yeah, that's
pretty
no
much
good.
took me out of it.
Jimmy, you've seen a lot of different players attacking the lanes this week. The oil patterns being a little bit different characteristics from South Point. Jack obviously struggled a little bit the one game today and knocked him out after a really good start. What have you seen out there?
They played a lot of different angles today. Some of the guys started playing out between 4, 5, 6, and then there was, guys that started between 10 and 15, and then there were some other players that started deeper in, like Dominic, and some of the other guys started a little bit farther left. So there was 3 different distinct areas that you could start, but then it migrated to that one spot that you had to play most of the time. And the interesting thing is they used a lot of different balls. Like Brian used a high road tonight for a lot of the time, and there was a range of balls from weak balls all the way to the strongest balls we have, Marvelesses and dull souls. And there's no one ball of choice, and that's one good thing about our line of balls is that we have so many different options that our players can use that, we're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, another thing this week also, we've seen so many of our players do well. And the first 2 shows we've already seen 2 guys make it on the first show. We saw 2 guys make it last night, 2 guys again tonight. Don Barrett is your leader. Brian Kretzer is second. Simonelli and Smallwood also making the show. And coming down the stretch on Extra Frame when we were watching, and if you're not watching Extra Frame, you're really missing out. Scores were not too plentiful there at the end. Jack, I know you were out there watching. What'd you see?
Well, it seems what I've noticed with everything so far the first 3 days is each time they rerun the pattern, they seem to be getting progressively tighter down lane. And anytime they get tighter down lane, that's going to make things a little tougher on the scoring pace. You really, you guys have to try and find a way to try and circle around the carry down lane. And it makes, and crossing pairs in this bowling center has always been tough. And then you throw that, another variable like that in, and it can play havoc on a lot of guys.
Absolutely, and we're having fun here. We're actually in the locker room. We've been saying it each night, but we're here in the locker room. And joining us now, we've got both Dom and Kretzer in here, and Louie standing by, doing such a great job over there interviewing too, Louie. He's standing by with Brian Kretzer. Louie.
Well, when you have to go inside and play the slow loop, there's one guy that's going to be right in there all the time, and that's Rotogrip's Brian Kretzer. And Brian, nice bowling tonight, and tell us how you did it.
I appreciate that, Louie. I actually played like Callahan said. I played way out early with a strong ball, a lot of surface, and I more played defense. I was out there to make sure I didn't shoot a bad game. So when I did start hooking them, I didn't have to make up any ground. And fortunately, I bowled a very big first game and a good solid second game, and I was able to take that momentum and then bowl 3 really good games. There at the end, I just lost my carry, made a couple bad shots, made a horrible shot in the 10th frame with a chance to lead, but still happy. Second place after 2 not really great showings the first 2 days, and to be on another show now that's 2 this week, and still got 2 more shows left I can make. So I'm happy with my performance so far.
Good, and Vegas has treated you good over the years, back in the high roller and eliminator days, and earlier when I interviewed you, you told me that it was nice for you to be able to put your hand back in the ball when you played this morning. So as far as the transitions went, how big of moves did you have to make today and tonight?
Tonight, like I said, I played them dead straight the first 2 games, and then me and Dell and Schlem decided that it was time to move, and we knew it was, and there was a lot of oil in the lane tonight, so I was able to really use my hand, but I couldn't loop it. I had to keep it a little on line, which actually helped me. That's why I made such a big move, because with my ball speed. And then the last couple games, they started getting beat up a little bit and had to move in. That's why I lost my carry a little bit, that and not throwing it quite as well. But, we've drilled balls this week, and they've really matched up well. And then, like I said, get on a long pattern and let me, slow loop, and I'm going to at least be competitive. And this way, today I was a little bit more competitive.
Well, you got a title under your belt, and we know that there's going to be a lot of people watching you in the ESPN Finals at a bowling center in Ohio. Go ahead and give them a shout out.
Yeah, Dayton will be happy to know I'm on 2 shows now. Capri Lanes in Dayton, Ohio. I'm the general manager there, so hopefully everybody will be watching me there. And then I had my wife come out already because I knew it was on the show, so now she gets to watch me on 2 shows. I told her, I'm getting up there in age. I don't know how many more I'm going to make, so you better make sure you see one. And then I pop up and make another one, and I plan on making another one tomorrow. So, hopefully Dayton's excited about it. I definitely am, and my entire family and friends will be.
All right, well, give them hell.
All right, I appreciate that.
All right, back to Flanagan in the booth.
All right, thank you so much, guys. Brian Kretzer, he's a guy that, I really didn't know too well, haven't interacted with him too much, but I've heard such great things about the PBA regional that he runs every year, one of the best regionals in the country, and the fact that he's a bowling center manager at Capri Lanes. They've held a tournament for many, many years. It's the Youth Masters tournament, actually. They've had a Junior Masters and a Collegiate Masters every year, and I used to compete in that tournament. So Dayton,
you bowl?
Yeah, a little bit once in a while, Jimmy. But awesome to see BK make a couple of shows here, one with the RPI and one with this one. He's one of the good guys.
I think one of the key points in watching tonight as well is that how much Dominic and Ryan really dominated. Ryan, I'll be okay. Brian. Brian and Dominic dominated the field. I mean, they out-averaged them by 4 or 5 pins a game. I mean, and that's impressive when the lanes aren't real easy, as Jack was saying. Pair-to-pair was really difficult. And when you went to the lower end of the center, I mean, it was drastically different. Dominic bowled 300 at the high end, and then he went to low end, and they were considerably tighter. I mean, the back of the lane was tight. And actually in the last game, he had on the left lane, he had a ball up to a ball that he hadn't really used a whole lot. So he bowled great, though. Both of them were fantastic.
Yeah, you look at the overall World Championship standings, and what Dom's done so far in the first 3 days is just mind-blowing. I mean, he's just running away from the field so far.
Absolutely. And you know what, Jack? Already in our chat here, we have someone that said that they heard about your Facebook post earlier in the week about how maybe you shouldn't be out here competing. You don't have enough, and they said we don't want to hear that out of Jack Jurek because you have a lot of support.
Yeah, it has been overwhelming. I mean, it's not that I don't feel like I compete, but my style of game doesn't match up very well. What guys, the balls and the guys today, what they do to the lanes in 5-6 games, it's incredible. I mean, today was, at least the start of today, obviously shows I still can play some.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I do have trouble finding a way to get through an entire round without having disaster happen. But
well, Callahan needs to help you out a little bit more. Then that's Jimmy's fault.
Well, I mean, Dell came over today. Dell was trying to throw some Amarillo-isms from back in my college days when things used to go my way. But yes, Dell.
Dell is going to join us in just a few minutes. But before we get to Dell, let's go ahead and bring in our top seed, who's with Louie. He's none other than the
Hold
Dominator.
on, Mike. I have one more thing.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Yeah.
We worked the ABT tournament last week.
Yes, we did.
And we did the live streaming together.
We did.
Who was my pick to click
Barrett.
last week?
Dom Barrett.
My man, Dom.
Dom Barrett was the pick. We're going to send it over to Dom and Louie right now.
Well, last night, the British Bulldog, that's my new name for him, for beef stew, Stu Williams made it. His roommate makes it tonight, and what's really impressive about Dom Barrett's performance today and tonight was yesterday he led after 7 on the Viper, had kind of a tough time at the end of the night last night, but man, way to come back tonight and today. That's awesome bowling.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me. You always try to forget about all the negative stuff that's happened, but yeah, it was pretty miserable last night, and those 7 games took forever. It was so bad, and then we got the afternoon squad today, so that helped me out a lot because I could go home or go to the hotel, have a good night's sleep, and just unwind and process all the bad stuff that happened, and then come into today and try to turn it around. And went into that 7-game block, and I bowled the other 2 as well, and I didn't do that well in Cheetah as well. And, you have those niggling thoughts that maybe this isn't going to happen,
right?
But I just read the lanes the same way. Just went out there and just tried to bowl, and not think about stuff like that too much, and had a good reaction, and made the most of it on the pairs I felt like I could do.
Tell us what equipment you used tonight.
I actually had to go with a few stronger covers. There was a lot of oil on the lane, and high road's always been a favourite of mine, but actually had to go to a cover that felt a little bit stronger when I put surface on it, which was a crossroad. So I used the crossroad a lot today, and actually the wrecker as well, the road grip wrecker. That ball for me hooks a lot. So when they put oil on the lane like they did in this tournament, and I can put surface on that ball, that gets me through the first 2 or 3 games when you're fighting transition and you're fighting oil getting down the lane quick, and that ball reads it a little bit earlier and stands up a little bit harder and goes through the pins great.
You have to be very happy in your in getting more mature out here and having a day like you did yesterday. I know it's got to be really rough on you guys, but to be able to bounce back like that is probably the mark of a champion. And so, how have you been getting better at doing that?
Being out here playing this World Series, this is my 4th. You really have to have a very fast process. You have to put everything that's happened, good or bad, to one side, turn it into the next day. It's a brand new event. You're still playing for the big major at the end, but the score's reset, and you have to do the same. So tonight I'm going to enjoy this and try to get my 4 or 5 hours sleep like I had the other night, and come into tomorrow morning as fresh as I can be. At least when you have only a few hours sleep, at least you go straight onto the lanes. You're not hanging around. So I'm not going to feel too bad tomorrow morning, I don't think, and just try and get out of your own way. The thing I've been thinking of the last couple of months where I've been playing well is just go out there and bowl. Don't try to overanalyze stuff too much. Don't try to have too many thoughts. Just go out there and do what you know what to do, and trust yourself.
One other quick question for Dom. Well, kind of a comment. It's got to feel really good that your buddy Stu makes the show yesterday. You make the show tonight. That's got to be cool. That and he's one of your best buddies, and you're rooming with him. That's kind of nice.
Yeah, for sure. If you go back to the last 2 years ago, and Stu went on to Viper and he won, and I won on Scorpion. This is very similar to that. The pattern is actually a different name, Chameleon, but it's actually longer than the old Scorpion, and I think this pattern had a lot of characteristics similar to the Scorpion we used to have, and I think that really comes down to the oil on the lane. There's a bit of volume. It plays very similar to some of the conditions we see in Europe, so I think we see conditions like this all the time. The length of the pattern to try and create hold, and you still have to make the ball do something, and I think that's really what helps me, and I think Stu as well, when he have a little bit more back end, the shorter patterns, he really enjoys that, and it really does remind us, especially for me for sure, a bit of deja vu from 2 years ago.
All right, Dom. Hey, we have a question from our buddy Jimmy Callahan in the booth. Jimmy.
Dom, can you tell us a little bit about, I know about 5 or 6 months ago you went from 15-pounders to 16-pounders, how that affects your ball motion, how you look at the lane, and how in the 15s to 16s do they react differently for you on our line?
Well, I actually tried that a couple of years ago. I went from 15 to 16, trying to really blend out the lane a little bit more. For me, whenever I try to do certain things with 15, I would try to slow down and not try to hook it too much. I wouldn't be able to. With 15, my hand would fly around the side of the ball, even though I was trying to lay off of it, just because of the angle my body wanted to project the ball when you're trying to hook the ball but not hook it too much.
Right.
With 16, there's for me a lot more mid lane in the bowling balls. They don't try to always jump off the back of the pattern a little bit more. I'm able to keep my hand in a certain position with 16. I don't overpower the ball, and I have to make the weight really work for me. I can't overpower the bowling ball like I could with 15. It's too heavy to do that. So you have to use different manipulations, different angles, and you have to look at the lane differently, that's for sure. And I went back to using 16 again in May, just after we came back from Milwaukee, and I've had some really good success with it. I don't really feel any weight difference now. Actually, you get on a ball return and you pick up the wrong ball by accident at 15, you might hit yourself in the face.
Yeah.
It's a big difference.
Yes.
And for me also, when I tried it a couple of years ago, I had my a quad bike accident straight after I went to 16 and came back, and I wasn't as strong. So now I do have to make sure with the way I bowl is a little bit higher backswing than some other people who use 16, and maybe a little bit more of an athletic type of style, I guess. So I have to make sure I'm in the gym and take care of my body, and otherwise I think you're prone to injury if you don't look after yourself.
Well, Dom, you need one more win for another title, and we all hope you bring her home.
I'll try my best. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Back to Flanagan in the booth.
Thanks so much, Louie and Dom. And Dom off to a great World Series, as you said, Jack.
Unbelievable World Series start for him so far. Not surprised at all.
Yeah, and I was really upset last night because he had actually been in here signing some autographs, doing some things for us for some fans that we wanted to send some autographs to, and we were in here and we were really confident we were going to see him last night. And to see what happened, after he bowled the early squad and then later in the day they were tighter and just really didn't bowl well, went backwards. And to see him back in here persevering tonight, as Louie said, is really something special.
Yeah, I think Louie really hit it on the head there. Dom's really maturing as a bowler out here. He's been over here long enough now. He's gotten to see a lot. He's got to taste victory now. There's going to be no stopping him. Absolutely,
and I think Ballard Jr. is going to go over and talk with Louie, and we're going to get a real insight with our tour rep and see what kind of happened today from some of our other players and some of the guys that haven't been bowling quite as well. So we'll throw that over to Louie and Dell as soon as they're set. It looks like they're set. We'll send it right over to Louie and Dell now at this time.
I got to hand it to this guy here. He's Are you 50 yet?
I turned 50 in July.
He's approaching 50. He gets up at 6, 7 in the morning, works all day. Him and Schlemmer doing all of this great ball work, and Jimmy Callahan. And so, it's late at night. You got two more guys in, a Storm and a Rotogrip tournament leader. Nice job, Dell.
Thanks. But remember, it's not about the help. It's about the bowlers.
Yeah. Yes.
We don't throw a shot. All we can do is make suggestions, and those are guys that have to come through.
Tell me what you saw out there primarily with Dom and Kretzer, but how did the lanes play and what were the transitions like?
Well, one thing I wanted to bring up is what really helped Kretzer was his first couple of games. He went straight. He kind of was yanking 6-7 with a dull ball, and I don't know what his first two games were, but he had to be close to 100 over.
Wow.
The first two games, going straight.
Yeah.
And then after he saw his ball wiggle a little bit, he said, okay, now it's time to hook it. So, he actually attacked the lane two different ways. Mm-hmm. And so, straight's not the easiest thing for Kretzer to do. He's always been known as a hook guy. But he came through. And Dom started out with a whole lot of surface early on because they were really, really tight through the mid lane. He had a lot of surface on his ball and used a wrecker and got it to come around the corner good.
And Kretzer, back in high roller days, and I followed him for over 20 years back in the high roller, and he never had that straight shot.
Never.
And he developed that, about 10 years ago?
Yeah, maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
In the mornings, on the fresh, if you hooked it, you were dead.
Yeah.
And he knew he was dead, so he just learned how to go straight, get it up the lane, and just kind of pull it towards the head pin.
And I believe the show he won.
Yes, he was
on his
going
time.
straight.
Yeah, that's remarkable.
Yep.
And it really says something for last night when Stu was in the booth here. Stu goes up the lane really, really good, and then he's got that slow looper. And to really compete nowadays, it's almost like you got to have both of them in your bag, at least to even kind of get you through the transitions.
You got to be able to do multiple angles. That's just the way it is, multiple angles.
Tell us a little bit about what you saw from Pete Weber and Norm Duke, our Storm stars today.
Norm has traditionally in the past struggled here, and we can't figure out why. It's just, for some reason, in my opinion, I don't know what it is, but there's just enough friction in the front that whenever you go straight, it burns up a little bit, but then whenever he hooks it, it doesn't quite get the spot. It's just, he's throwing it great, and we can't figure it out. It's not about the balls. It's not about him. It's just not matching up right. Just something's not clicking.
And what about Weber?
Weber looked like he was bowling on some friction today because his ball was slowing down a little bit too much, but whenever he got into something weaker, then it was a little too clean. And so he just had some struggle getting the 10 out for a while, and whenever you try to make a ball strike, bad things usually happen. And so he'd split a couple times.
How is the left side playing here at South Point this year?
Do I have to be politically correct on this?
No, you don't.
I am president of the IHL. You do know that, right?
I do know that.
Okay, just kidding. Well, so far the first tournament leader is left-handed, the second tournament leader is left-handed, and got another one on the show this week, so they're faring fairly well.
Okay.
And PA just missed a show just by 4 or 5 pins using Defiant Souls. He used us and a Marvel Pearl. So I mean, he's been using us for a while and made a good run at it tonight.
Del Ballard once told me that the lane always comes to the high road.
Always comes to a high road.
What balls
Marvel
are you?
Pearl.
What
Marvel
balls are
Pearl
you
high
seeing
road.
primarily out there for the first 3 days?
I've seen a variety of bowling balls. Actually, Totally Defiance looked great. Some Defiant Souls have looked great. They made the comment about the crossroads. You know, you don't see a whole lot of crossroads going down the lane, but now you've got two that's made the show here. So, I mean, our product line, that's why I always say I think we have the best product line top to bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the high road. The Marvel Pearl always reads this place great.
Yeah.
The high road, Kretzer used it all day. You know, a lot of today hooking it. So we've just been using a lot of different balls. Marvel S's, Disturbs. I mean, you name it.
Mm-hmm. What about the two-handers? What about Belmo and Osku?
Osku shot 260. He had caught a bad pair and shot 120. But then after that, he shot 250 the next game using a Marvel S. And Belmo was using, I don't even know what that other ball is. What is it called?
Code Black.
Jim? Code Black. It's an international ball that he
Yes.
picked up overseas.
Mm-hmm.
Used that quite a bit, but Marvel Pearls he used going straight. Then he used, did he ever use the bite?
I used to bite. He used to bite. He used to bite a little bit early.
Yeah, that's what I couldn't remember if it was the bite or not. What? I'm tired.
No, it's not about you. We're not
Okay.
laughing about that.
Okay.
All right, well, listen, we're going to let this guy get out of here so he can get some sleep.
Yes,
Del
I'm old.
Ballard. Yeah, well, I'm old too, but Chris Schlemmer and Seattle really hurt me tonight. Chris Schlemmer, Del
Hurt
Ballard,
us.
Jimmy Callahan did a great job again today. We can't say enough about him, so we're going to send it
Callahan
back.
did a great job.
Yes, he always does, and we're going to send it back to Jimmy, Flanagan, and Jack Jurek in the booth.
All right, thanks, Louie and Del. That was funny. That Code Black reference in there that Del talked about is what we were chuckling about over here because there's a little bit of stir about that ball. It was international release, as we know. Storm releases balls internationally, and international balls are released here at the World Series of Bowling. You can use them here, and it's kind of a sensitive subject there because it is an overseas ball, and once in a while you do come across one of those balls, but. Obviously, there's plenty of other bowling ball options out there, and you guys have even found a couple of balls that match up really similar to what that ball is. So if somebody saw him throwing that on extra frame and did get mentioned here tonight, what would be a very similar ball that you can go out and get in your pro shop, Jim?
We've replaced it. I mean, he used a Totally Defiant, which is a little bit more shape off the back. That ball seems to me, and I don't know a lot about it, to be very frank.
Right.
It seems to me that it's kind of long and kind of archy off the back, and it's the shape that Jason's looking for this week, that he just wants his ball to roll a little bit off it. But tonight, actually, he needed a little bit more off the back, so he had to go to the Totally Defiant. And today he used a Marvel Pearl. He's used other balls in the line. That's just been a ball that when he has to control the break point and control the back, he's used a little bit. It's kind of he's used a little bit here and there.
Jack.
That's
Thanks.
my first hear about this ball. So
Yeah, it's no big deal. It's just one that happened to sneak in here for the World Series of Bowling.
I'm just Jim.
But I heard the IQ Tour is very similar to that ball.
Like you say, I don't even know what's on the inside of it. It's got, I don't know. I don't really know anything about it. I don't know what the cover is.
I'm going fishing in the locker room right
That's
now.
right. Hey,
I don't
Jack,
know what it is.
Hey, Jack.
I
Thanks,
don't.
Thanks for joining us tonight and being part of our show here.
Thank you, Mike. It's been
Attaboy, Del.
it's
Del,
been
why
fun.
don't you stand right in
Actually-
front of the camera? Stay hot, Del. You're doing a good job, buddy.
For me, this was kind of nice actually. After the day I had today, to just get a chance and talk about it and get it off my chest, and hopefully move on to tomorrow.
Yeah, well, right now I can tell you this. Anytime you come in here, you get a lot of good luck. And I think tomorrow, maybe we'll see you in here over
I'd
at
like to try the
table.
other chair. I mean,
Yeah.
that looked comfortable over there.
It is comfortable over there. And Jimmy, as always, you're our sales rep for this particular area. You're kind of a hybrid guy. You're kind of like our high road, I guess, in our product line. You get to come out. You get to be
that's quite
strong
That's a big one right
Billy
there.
said something nice about me. You did.
birthday coming up too for the high road on November 20th. 5 years old. How many times can you see a ball have a 5-year shelf life?
I've never seen any.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long, long time.
We have a lot of balls in our line that have been around for a while. Marvel Pearl has got to be. This is the third season for that
Yeah,
one.
Third
Still,
World
sure
Series
is.
with it,
Sure
yeah.
is.
Yeah.
So hey, everybody, thanks for joining us tonight. Mike Flanagan, Jack Jurek, Jim Callahan. We'll be here again tomorrow night. Hope you're enjoying these post-game shows. You can go out and watch them on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, that you like us on Facebook, and you follow us on Twitter. Also, we're on Instagram, and I've been putting a lot of really cool videos out on Instagram from all week here at the World Series of Bowling. As we say every night, support the PBA Tour. One way you can do that is by subscribing to Extra Frame. It's very cheap, very inexpensive to be able to watch. They do great coverage. And tomorrow it's the Scorpion. So any predictions for tomorrow, Jimmy, on who you think might do well in Scorpion?
I think that's an Oscu type pattern. That's a Belmo type pattern. That's a Dom type pattern. I think Reverend. Hold on, I didn't finish.
That doesn't sound good for me.
Hold on, Jack. Hold on. I didn't get to finish yet. When we had the practice session the other day, there was multiple angles that played.
Thank God for that.
So you could play a little bit straighter. and
multiple hands.
Multiple rev rates, you know.
This is by far the most fun show we've had in 3 nights. No offense to anybody else who's been on any of our shows, but tonight has definitely been a fun one.
I think you'll see the interesting thing the last 2 days is that they started playing in much farther the last 2 days. And today, actually, Jack had to look, in a little bit different part of the lane. But it's interesting. They broke down almost exactly the same 2 days in a row, and they just used different balls.
Hey, you know what? Jack, I know Jack Jurek. Jack Jurek is a friend of mine, and never count Jack Jurek out. Come on, Jack.
No.
We just got to start shortening. Maybe just shorten the number of games we bowl.
Hold on. When I worked the summer events,
oh
the
boy,
Senior
here,
US Open,
here we go,
and the Senior Masters, and there was a regional, and I never count Jack. I asked Jack. I rode Jack like a horse for 3 days, 4 days, 5 days.
Yeah, it was a disaster in practice session there too.
You're a little train wrecky. I mean,
I can be. I can be tough. I can be tough.
And
I'm
plus
getting old, man. I'm running out of chances. That's the thing. I'm just, I just try to take advantage of the few opportunities I get.
Jack has the gentleman Jack monitor too. He's
certainly.
gentleman
I got some
Jack.
guys at home.
That
Mark
counts for
Roth actually hates that one. He really does. He goes, Gil Sliker was a nice guy. He didn't win. Bleep.
Yeah.
Gil Sliker, that ages us.
I'm sorry.
okay.
I am in the 50-plus group now.
Me too.
AARP certified.
He's
We
a
aren't.
PBA league champion.
I'm not
over
there yet.
too.
I feel like I'm over 50, but I'm not there yet.
Okay.
Thanks, guys, and hey, great show.
Thanks, Louie. So Scorpion tomorrow. We'll see you again tomorrow night. Until then, you guys have a great night, and keep tuning in to the Storm postgame show. And I appreciate you joining us tonight, Jack and Jim, as always.
Thanks very much.